Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and we have a very interesting subject, dear viewers, that we're going to be discussing in this very important segment. The sixth Future Smart Cities (FSC) conference peers into the future of urban settlements and human civilizations, discussing topics pertaining to technology, implementation in urban planning, and city design. FSE covers a wide array of topics, including smart mobility and connectivity, cybersecurity, advancements in data and networking, smart grids and renewable energy, smart buildings, urban environments, and climate change mitigation techniques. And dear viewers, to know more about this very interesting subject, we are, of course, have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Wael Badawi, who is a member of the Communication and Information Technology Council, and also, dear viewers, the member of the Egyptian Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. A very good day, sir, and it's an utmost pleasure to discuss this very controversial, of course, and to know more about this very important topic that everyone here in Egypt nowadays and around the world need to know more about. A very good day, sir.
So if we question the smart cities or the meaning of smart cities, smart cities basically cities which has some kind of intelligent or knowledge or know-how about its population and the usages of its resources. So one good example for smart cities, or what we're trying to apply in Egypt in the new development, like new capital as a smart city. This city will have some sensors.
The new capital is the new administrative capital.
The new administrative capital as a smart city. This city will include sensors to understand, for example, one of the application, traffic on different roads. So if I understand what is the traffic on different roads, I can open crossing, I can open other roads, I can increase the flow of vehicles by allowing more resources per roads. This is a kind of simple application of a smart cities. Smart cities will go beyond that because it's usually employ lots of digital information technology, such as digital meters. So if I have a city which include digital meters for electricity or digital meters for water usages, and I can adjust supply and resources by this city, in this case it's called a smart city. When we understand the benefits of usages and monitoring the usages of different resources, it enables us to better manage the resources. So for example, if it's too sunny, I can increase the power because more users or more habitants will use more air conditions. If it's shadowy, my solar panels will not bring more solar system or more electricity from solar. I can use classical or traditional power sources. The balance of using the resources is always decided by a digital computer, or you can call it artificial intelligence, or a decision making, that it will be better manage the different resources. So this is what we call it as a smart city. In Egypt...
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Do you think that Egypt at this point needs the smart cities?
With the large number of population and the high concentration and the high ratio of people per square meter, to better manage the resources, the answer is yes. Because if I look at large area with so many people and how many people will use the road. So for example, in Canada, one of the good application of smart cities is called reversible roads, which means in the morning, everybody going to downtown. So I will allow more lanes. So each street is about 4 lanes. I will take 3 lanes in the morning to get inside downtown. However, in 3 o'clock or 3:30, I will take 3 lanes in the 4-lane road to go outside downtown. So in this way, I will increase the circulation between downtown, which is the hub, or where majority of people will work in big companies and big organizations. I will take them away for the suburb so they can travel time, reduce their travel time. They can have efficient use of their fuel, effective use of their time, because they will go home faster. So this is one of the many applications of smart cities in roads, simply in roads. As we see in different cities in in Egypt, even like in Alexandria, you have the roads is like squares. So you have parallel roads and square roads. So why do you make a decision to make right turn or left turn? If you understand the traffic pattern and the number of cars on the road, you may decide to make a reversible road. So at certain time it will turn left because it's faster, or at certain time it will turn right because it gets into the city hub or the center of the city. So this is one of the applications. There are so many other applications like availability of internet, security by having everything sensed and everything is monitored by different cameras and different sensors. So we know, for example, if you have a fire in a location, the information about the fire will be disseminated and sent to everybody because everybody is on one network. In this case, we will avoid having a rush to see the fire. And this is one of the safety applications in smart cities.
Perfect. So, sir, in your opinion, what are the most important features of smart cities?
The most important feature of smart cities is to increase the quality of life of people. So our residents will not spend too much time in roads fighting traffic. Our residents, when they have needs, they can quickly achieve their needs and reach their needs. So the smart cities are found for increasing the quality of life of people. One of the other examples
or advantages.
Oh, this one of the this one of the major advantage.
The roads. What other advantage, sir?
Other advantage for the suppliers or for the green energy is we will not consume as much as we need or as we design, because we basically supply based on the consumption prediction. So, for example, if this, when you go to different places, if you have no people inside, you will not have lights on. If you have no people in this area, you can actually shut down all the street lights. Some of the application is when you drive long roads and you have no traffic whatsoever, the traffic light will not turn green because there is no sensors to tell there are somebody needs a green light. So it always play on time and cost of resources. And by reducing time and moderate cost, people will have a better quality of life.
Okay, so do you think that smart cities will help solve the traffic problems we're facing in Cairo? Of course, in light of what you just mentioned, it will. But in which means?
Definitely it will, the applications in the current urban areas, it will definitely reduce the commuting time between different locations. Because if I know how many vehicles on each road, I can decide which roads I can able to open in which directions. As I said, like in the easiest example or the simplest example is we have 4 lanes, 2 lanes per way, so 4 lanes roads. So if I enable 3 lanes to go inside the city in the morning, more vehicles will go inside, because if I only limit it to 2 lanes, I will have long lines of vehicles. If at people after at 3:30, they will go home from 3:30 to 5:30. So what we do is we have a reversible road, so we will accommodate more lanes per road to leave the city. So this will enable faster and easier circulation of vehicles going out from inside to outside. The same also for if we have what we call it light rail or metro or tram or underground system. I can compute the number or the rate of sending the train. Is it every 5 minutes a train or every 10 minutes a train? This rate of trains can be computed based on the number of people waiting on the bank to get a ride in the train. So by having sensors to evaluate how many waiting, I can quickly dissolve them or circulate them by sending more lanes. If I know which cars are too busy, I will not open the doors for them and I will make proper announcement. So people effectively will use the resources. They will not line up for a full cart, for example, in a train station or in.
And does this take place, Dr. Wael, as we talk now? This is in action, and it happens that the smart detectors or sensors detect if there's a problem with the trains, and it helps increase the cars of the trains and facilitate this for the citizens?
In Egypt right now, what we understand from being in touch with different groups through our council or through personal contact, the answer is yes. In Egypt, we have flavors of these solutions. We have central monitoring stations in these new capitals, our new cities, or we call them.
Sorry, sir. These new cities is the new administrative city, the new Alamein city. What else?
There is new Mansoura, and there are new initiatives in new Asyut, new Sohag, new Bani Suef. There are so many of these cities. So all these new cities are...
Does this comprise the smart village that started long time ago or no?
The smart village long time ago has a much faster internet, and it has some sensors. But the size of the smart cities itself, or the smart village, sorry to say, the size of it did not allow a large deployment of examples. Also, it was created long time ago before we mature the concept of smart cities. So in a smart city, you will experience, or you will enjoy, shorter travel time, easy access to different resources, and you will have more information coming to your phone, which will tell you about anything happening around you. And this is a promise, and we start to see in the new deployment or the new part which open, we start to see some aspect of that.
Sir, what are the main challenges that we face in developing smart cities in Egypt?
The biggest challenge in smart cities, not only in Egypt but anywhere, is the cybersecurity. Because cybersecurity, if I build a digital system on a network and somebody wants to attack me, they can get viruses or spywares or whatever it is, and they can send it to halt the system or take information away from the system. So this is the biggest challenge right now in going into more digital. My understanding from attending few workshops and few events, that in the new capitals or the new areas we develop in Egypt, which we call it green development, we have separating between internet or worldwide connectivity network via sensors for smart cities. So you have physically two different networks. When you talk about urban areas like Cairo, Alexandria, the old development, to transfer it to be a smart city application, you will have to piggyback, or you have to use the standard internet at every home. And this will make you vulnerable for, or will create the risk of having hackers to hack in and see what you do, or monitor it, or collect information, or send you something to give you fake information, which is what we have been seeing in so many Hollywood movies. So this did not happen on a large scale, but it could happen. So this is one of the largest problems. If we talk about failure of sensor or failure of areas, usually this development have been designed by individuals who will understand the risk management, who will start to have B plan and the backup plan. So we don't have issues with mechanical failure or a failure in operation. We have the issue of somebody trying to jam the smart city. Another natural problem might happen is thunders, because if you have thunderstorms, all your Wi-Fi, all your wireless connectivity will be lost in the energy of the thunders. So smart cities, when we deploy it, we have to be careful a little bit of where it is and what is the weather around it, because it can create a bigger issue.
Okay, sir, how will the ordinary citizen, or let's say the citizen that does not have, of course, the category, let's say the category C citizen, benefit from these smart villages as others benefit, or the A-class benefit from these smart villages?
Right now in some compound around Cairo, you can go and pay the bills of your electricity meters over your phone. So a standard citizen will not understand he's in a smart city. What he will see is he will see some benefits. So he'll start to see mobile application or internet portal where he can interact with the services. So for example, if you have a meter, you may not have the charging card anymore. You will have a meter which can send you information, oh, I need that much to pay the bills, when they pay phone. So this kind of application is part of smart cities. There are large compounds in Egypt overall which start to implement these flavors. When you go, for example, for access the entry gate at your tower, you will not need to have another ID. You may have your phone, and you scan your phone, the gate will open, and then you can get into your parking lot. So now normal citizen or standard ordinary citizen do not need to get engaged more of, is it really smart city and how smart is it, they will only see the benefits. They will only see the usages. They will only see the applications. They will enjoy not going to stand in lines to take advantage or to pay some of these services.
Okay, sir, in your opinion, what can the community and local companies play in developing smart cities?
Smart cities,
The role, I mean.
smart cities, as we start to talk about it as a concept, it deploys diverse and large applications and different applications. So currently, I don't believe that there is one single company which can deploy all of these applications. So for new companies and the new graduates and the startup companies, they will be individual identified problems, small problems, that these companies can develop solution for it, and then can go integrated. Moreover, we have the localization, because we are, as in Egypt, we speak different language, we have different dialect, and we have different slang. So based on this localization, or what we call it in computer science, localization, we will need individuals or small companies to go outside and look at the large application and start to localize it by building Egyptian toned interfaces. So an average individual, without knowing too much English or French, they will be able to interact and communicate with these particular services. So this is where the opportunity. In terms of Internet of Things or IoT, which I call it IoT, where you have sensors connected to a large net or large technology, there are so many companies right now are building small solutions in Egypt to be cost effective, more adoption to the local community and the local society with localization. So they can be used in such application.
Sir, in your opinion, do you think that technology is enough to achieve the success of smart village cities? And are there no other factors that we need to take into consideration? Of course, taking into consideration the employment rate.
I appreciate this question for so many reasons, because technology is a technology and it becomes innovation till people start to use it. So the social fabric, or the average individual in Egypt, if he cannot interact, interface, take advantage of using this technology, we have no such thing as a smart city. For example, you have the ATM machines, which is a very brilliant idea. You go pull your money from a machine. If everybody will pretend they don't understand how to operate with it and they're still going to the bank, the ATM machine will not deliver its promise. So the social fabric acceptance is a big thing. And I call it social fabric because we don't talk about single individual. So what we should do, we should start to build awareness techniques to demonstrate exactly like the awareness techniques we build when we have COVID immunization. So once you educate your population and the users how to use, and you tell them what are the benefits, till they start to use it to enjoy the maximum out of it, this is at that point we can talk about that we have adopting the concept. Human is number one decision making in accepting the technology. If they don't accept it, they will not be able to, we will not be able to use it.
Okay, sir, is it easy for a normal citizen to understand this very complicated mechanism where it is difficult for a very intellectual person to get acquainted to such a technology? Because not every intellectual or every very well educated person can get acquainted to this kind of technology.
Individuals will only see interfaces. It's like when you go to your ATM machine right now and use your bank account. Did anybody tell you this called electronic finance or called electronic banking? No. So for an average human being, if he sees an interface in Arabic or English, and this bunch of push buttons, and the push buttons will deliver the promise, he will not get into what is the concept. So any electronic service or digital service, as long as we educate and we get people to adopt and average individuals to adopt, we will be able to show the solution and take advantage out of it. So not everybody will understand. Not everybody understand what is the encryption system in their credit card or their ATM card. Majority of the Egyptians don't understand what's the difference between Visa, MasterCard, debit card, or credit card. But they use it, and they keep putting their 4-pin number everywhere. So when I'm not worried too much about people will want to understand. What I'm worried about it is our designers will design the systems not to be hacked, not to be attacked, to protect us as average citizen, to perform our daily activity and our daily use.
Okay, sir, how can we work on normal citizens or the citizens in general to get acquainted to this type of technology, which is, from my point of view, complicated. It's not that easy. We have to learn them. We have to make them acquainted. We have to make them understand how the procedure goes on.
Is by creating awareness campaigns.
How can we create
Awareness campaigns traditionally comes over TV shows or TV programs, comes over now YouTube and different social media channels.
Perfect.
And this is what the social awareness is about. So we need to tell individuals. Second thing is, when you have new citizens or new individuals going to these particular cities, someone will give them orientation how to use the system. And this one, when they train them, they have to be competent enough to answer their difficult questions. It's no different than when you go open a new bank account and people will take you out, and the individual from the bank will walk you out to show you how to activate your ATM card.
Okay, so do you think that there are places that teach people this, or there should be businesses that should come up with this idea to teach people how to move on with this type of technology?
The provider of this technology and this service shall be the one who train people on how to use their own technology. Oh. It cannot be individual people.
It cannot be
because there is no financial gain for individuals to come to create awareness.
Okay, sir, we go back to your first point where you said that TV and media are important. I'm putting into consideration that we're moving on to digital media. How do you read the importance of media in the context of digital media?
Still, if we look at our population, we have to split the society into age brackets. Age bracket means there are individuals above 7 years old, there are between 50 to 60, there are 60 to 70, and then there is, they call it Z generation, and there is the young generation. So we still need to have paper newspaper, because paper-based newspaper are used by a segment of our society, which usually people at the wise age, or we call them elderly or wise people. Young generation will get tired from longer movies, longer shows. They need the snippet, they need the small. This kind of demographic of our society requires that everyone with its own preferred mean of communication receives the message. So when you talk about media, classical media or traditional media, which is radio and TV, there are good amount of listener and the viewers still following them. When you talk about digital media like social media or internet or reels or any short movies, there is another portion of the society. Yes, there is an overlap, and there are the odd percentage which actually go to a different pocket. However, you need to target each one with the way they want to listen or receive the information.
Okay, sir, can you please discuss and tackle the most important, prominent global model of smart cities that we can benefit from in Egypt?
If I understand your question correctly, if we talk about a global model, there are initiatives in different cities around the world that we can learn by experience from them. But I can also stretch your question to say, if we have successful local businesses who successfully develop and deploy smart parking slots, smart access, a smart meter for power and electricity, for water, for sewage, smart power supplies from between solar and the green energy and the traditional energy. If we have companies like this, we can actually export this technology out to the regional areas, because in all of what we've seen right now is there is always a demand on a better technology, because the problem is large. When you talk about smart city, from going smart shopping to smart parking lot to smart meter to control curtains and block out in your windows, to control your doors, to control gates, to understand traffic pattern, to give tickets and give report on people who violate the law. All of these are small problems, but at the end of the day, they create what we call it a smart city by digitizing access of information and make control to control access point or control point, so we can achieve the target of simplify people life and make them enjoy a standard of life.
So do you think that Egypt can be a pioneer in the field of smart cities in the Middle East? And if yes, why?
If we say Egypt could have the chance of being pioneer in the smart cities for one simple reason. Egypt comes after everybody because the new cities we built are almost after everybody in the region. So we should be able to take advantage of lesson learned from everyone else and then understand how to make it better, efficient, and more cost effective. So we could build the model which everyone comes after us will adopt, including buying our small technologies to support them in adoptions. So that's why we're in a very good position to impact outside. There's only one new city coming in Saudi Arabia, which is we hear about it, but we don't hear about in the region about anyone else. All the other neighbors we have, they will build similar cities because this is the way to go. We cannot build classical road as large enough, as long enough. We cannot afford having more electricity burned without or used without usages, without effective use. So that's why we say Egypt is on the verge of creating a new thing.
Okay, sir, in light, of course, of the future smart cities, how do you read, other than the roads and the facilitating the traffic and the importance of these cities in other parts or other important aspects of our lives?
These cities, if we largely deploy these technologies of sensing what we can get from the sun and use solar panel, for example, we can reduce the traditional power generation. So this will reduce the green gas emissions. These cities, when we talk about populations and distribution of people, imagine you are in a mall and the mall will send you a message, you guys don't come. Why? Because the mall is at capacity. What you will do? You will enjoy your time elsewhere. So when you talk about what the advantage of these cities will be on a large internet, large bandwidth internet. It can communicate with outside, it can receive information, and also we have what we call it maintenance. So if we understand how many will drive over the bridge, we can quantify and qualify a bridge for a maintenance. And this is a big science called predictive maintenance. It's based on knowing information about the potential failure of different equipment. At your house, on your personal use, for example, who will know when our heater will fail and how to change it? Now, if I can do a meter who can sense how long and how much did your heater is operating, I can easily do predictive maintenance model and I can do maintaining it. So if you want to talk about the benefits are huge for the user, for the operator, for the owner of the city, which is basically our government.
Sir, as a member of the Communication and Information Technology Council, how do you read the importance of the future smart cities, and how do you think that trained employees here in Egypt can work hard on this to make it very successful?
In the council, in the academy for this council, we basically have small projects, which is writing position paper or road maps, and we advise on what shall be taken actions to help in moving towards the future. So we monitor what's happening outside Egypt on the global space, and we bring it as documents to try to help out here to create awareness. So we will go and write articles, documents, position papers, white paper, targeted studies to describe what is smart cities about, what is artificial intelligence about, what is potential actions for our government to do so we can help out into predicting the future and position our Egyptian citizens to a better job, a better lifestyle, a better opportunity in the future.
We discussed, of course, smart cities. If we come to discuss smart home, how do you read this and how do you work on it?
If you look at a smartphone first before a smart home, so when you have a smartphone, you have now your communication more efficient in different ways. A smart home is a smaller example of a smart cities, because in a smart home you will have control on lighting, on usages, on power consumption, on water supplies, and you can meter them and position them in different ways. So for example, if you talk about lighting and you have a system which is available in the market right now, it can sense the lights outside the window and then it adjusts the curtain to maximize the amount of light to get in without tanning the clothing, for example. This kind of applications exists in smart cities. So smart home, it has a smaller features of what we call it in smart cities. And there are so many
Like switching the light on and off.
You're switching light on off.
When you enter, it switches on, and when you go out, it switches off.
And this is available in so many universities, new universities, in so many new malls. When you go to the washrooms or restrooms, and you'll have, when you are the first one in, the light will start to turn on. There are also in long hallways, like we start to see in some hotels or some malls or some large section or multi-department stores. If there is nobody in this particular part of the store, the lights will dim. For security reason, you must have a minimum amount of light. Once somebody
security only, or consumption of electricity as well?
It's for a few reasons. One of them is reducing the power bill, so you reduce the consumption of power. But it's also safety, and there is a factor which is we don't really give it enough attention: risk of failure. So if the system will fail and will not turn on, there is enough lighting, they call it safety light, to allow people to see a little bit. So in large malls outside, if you have department stores and you are the only walking in as the only one, there are cameras which will tell the assistant to come to catch up to you. So this kind of directing services toward you as to maximize your personal shopping experience. This is what we see. So in Egypt, there are hotels and there are malls. If the hallways has no one, it will be dimmed to the minimum. And when you start to walk inside the hallway, it will start to turn on the lights. And if you walk in and you stand at the end and wait for a few minutes, you will start to see the lights will dim again if nobody else will come across. So this has helped us to effectively use our resources and reduce the unnecessary use of electricity.
Dr. Wael Badawi, member of the Communication and Information Technology Council, a member of the Egyptian Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. Thank you very much for, of course, your informative knowledge and for giving us from your time and for this wonderful interview that, of course, we highlighted on the importance of the future smart cities in Egypt, which is our future here in Egypt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back again. Don't go away.